Hey guys, RageCage20 here, and we are back with the next classic dungeon. We got the Sunken Temple, also known as the Temple of Atal Hakar, but people just refer to it as Sunken Temple, so that's what they decided to name it. As you can see, everything says Atal Hakar, but in reality, it is not. Well, at least that is not what people call it. It is here in the Swamp of Sorrows in Eastern Kingdoms. You just go all the way till you see the massive temple with the name Atal Hakar, and then you just fly into it and head all the way down. Now, I have some good memories. Oh yeah, I automatically cast water walking in myself. I forgot about that. With this temple, which was sullied around the time of Cataclysm, because they completely changed the dungeon. At least they took half of the dungeon out permanently, no matter what. Not like Blackrock Depths, where you can come back and do certain sections. No, they just took this temple out completely. But it used to be one of my favorites, but I guess Zul'Farrak is after all my ultimate favorite. But I mean, this place used to be so in depth, and they just chunked like half the dungeon out, which is sad, but it's alright. So there's like two halves to this dungeon, but now we just have the one half of it left, which sucks, but it's alright. So usually the order that people want to go in, because this dragon here, the final boss, will not wake up until all dragons are defeated. So you want to go defeat this dragon, then you want to go over here defeat him, so two dragons will show up in the middle, and then you go defeat these two dragons so that this dragon will awaken. That is usually the order that people like to do it. Sometimes people go after the prophet first, but it just feels weird and backwards, because this section you can go in and then come out. It just seems to flow better, so most people take it the way that I am currently taking it. You gotta watch out for this guy over here. He will put people to sleep, especially healers. If you are DPS, like I guess almost any class that is a DPS, they can also generally heal. Will have some kind of cleansing ability. If you see a magic on your healer that says that they're asleep, for fuck's sake, cleanse them so that they are not asleep. They're healing your team. It's not like it's a big deal, because you know this dungeon's not that hard to take a little bit of damage. But, you know, it's just how it is. So before, what you used to have to do is you used to have to do something with these braziers over in the corner, and you had to have a specific item or something like that to get this guy to show up, and you had to do it in order or some shit like that. Now you just activate these, and then the boss shows up. They simplified this dungeon a lot, but it was actually kind of needed, because this dungeon was a little difficult to maneuver and figure out what to do. I did not sell my shit, son of a bitch. Let's see. No, that was not what he gave. He gave little beans. After you defeat that, you come around here, try to pull both of these little wyvern flying things, because teams get impatient when you just do one at a time. You know how pugs go. People get impatient about anything really fast. So what I like to do at this point is, after I've cleared this whole section, I go in the middle and act like I'm heading over here, because I like to clear this out beforehand as a tank, so that I don't have to worry about it later in the game, or later in this this dungeon when I come back. I leave that section open because it's not going to make a difference, and then I clear this section over here. You can leave those guys up over there, though I don't know how. Oh, I walked past them. Usually they will already be dead. And you can leave this section up and that section up, for now at least. But this section of people over here would never bother you, so you don't have to fight them. Grab you, shock you, and so that when you come back out here, this whole middle section and everything will be cleared for when the two dragons show back out. That is just the path that I like to choose personally, but you can do obviously whatever the hell you want. But I'm just giving you advice of how the way I've discovered that it flows the best. Now this next section is a healer's worst fucking nightmare, and a tank's worst nightmare when you're working with pugs, because people in this room, like, I like to take it section by section. I like to take 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, which getting 3 pulls I feel is not that big of a deal, but people just like DPS are like, no, I'm just gonna pull the whole fucking room because I don't give a shit. So fucking annoying. Please don't do that. Because for two reasons. One, It's either the Deathwalker or the Priest. I believe it's the Priest cast Fear, so that you'll run in and attract all these people. Very frustrating. So when you can just hone them down one group at a time and stop them from casting that, that's absolutely amazing. And I believe the Deathwalkers, once you kill them, yep, they pop into these lovely little skeleton things that you cannot kill, cannot do any damage to, and they do ass loads of damage. And so when they're focusing on the healer and the healer has to constantly move and heal at the same time, or they're focusing on someone and people losing half health at once, people don't like it when you pull the whole fucking room. Or at least I don't. As a tank and a healer, I fucking hate it when I'm in this room as a healer, because everyone wants to get feared into everything, and then these guys chunk them out while they're pulling the whole fucking room and no one knows how to dodge them, which is also very frustrating. And so I hate it as a healer. As a tank, it's like everyone's favorite room to, hey, I'm just gonna pull even though I'm not the tank because I just don't give a fuck. Very frustrating at one point, but you know, pretty much just don't be a dick, you know? Just don't be a dick is all I'm saying, you know, in this game. Like, don't be a dick. It was kind of cool looking sword though. It looks more like a dagger. Some fists, hand stuff. And then with that boss fight, he's gonna turn someone, usually the tank, I find more often than not, into this big, like, troll-looking motherfucker that's gonna start attacking the group. Don't kill him, okay? Let the healer deal with them and heal through the pain. Don't kill your own teammates, because they will actually fucking die. For reals, I've seen people do that. These guys are just tank and spank, so they will knock the tank that is tanking them into the air. Which can be annoying, but you just deal with it. They sometimes drop stuff. They usually drop these rings that you will see tanks having two of, because they're one of the very, very few rings that actually drop for tanks in this section of the game. It's a tragic event when you're a tank in this part of the game. Trust me. But yeah, so then that's when you take out that one group that I said leave there for now. It just kind of gives you guys something to do. You can clear them out beforehand, but then people are going to want to try running down here. It's just pretty much when you're working with pugs, it's how do I make my team not act as stupid as possible, you know? How could I work to make sure that my team doesn't act like a bunch of fucking idiots? That as your job, it seems, when you're in this section. So sometimes these guys, these little kind of bosses drop items, sometimes they don't, because they're kind of like mini bosses. Like, as you can see, these ones aren't even on the map. And here is technically the final boss. He will put your tank to sleep at one point, which is not a big deal. You just you just heal through it. Have your healer heal through it, and he usually dies pretty soon after putting the tank to sleep. So it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to show you now, because that technically is the dungeon. It's a very short dungeon. It used to be a very long dungeon back in the day, and I'm going to show you why that was. So once you clear this whole top section out and went up, there was this whole like rooms to the side, I believe. I can't recall if they were like, I think that thing used to be open. Yeah, that the side rooms used to be open, and you had to get up to the top and hit all these gongs that you see. There used to be 4 gongs, I believe. There used to be gong on like each side. You have to ring all the gongs to open this hole here. In this hole, you would all fall down into the water, and there'd be a whole nother half of the dungeon to go from this point that they completely blocked off and took out by like caving in that wall and like sealing this off for good, because you can't get up there to ring that. And the reason they did that, it was very confusing. I can't tell you the number of times that my guild got confused and lost and mixed up down there. It was like lower Blackrock Spires confusing, but like times 2. So I understand why they got rid of it, but I mean, I liked it, and I would have liked to have the option, kind of like Blackrock Depths, have the option to be able to go through it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dungeon, and I will see you in the next dungeon.